Part 1, The Arena of Blood. The roar of the crowd was deafening, a cacophony of alien voices screaming for blood. The ancient stone amphitheater was packed with thousands of spectators from across the galaxy, their collective bloodlust palpable in the electrified air. At the center of the arena stood Tristan Stone, a human marine, his muscled torso bare and glistening with sweat under the harsh lights. Battle scars crisscrossed his skin like a roadmap of survival, each one a testament to his resilience. He rolled his shoulders, loosening up as he sized up his opponent. Nixus, the alien gladiatrix, towered over him at 8 feet tall. Her dark red skin rippled with powerful muscles beneath perfectly fitted combat armor. Her crimson hair tentacles writhed like living things, reflecting her barely contained aggression. "I am Nixus, the unconquered," she had sneered earlier, her amber eyes blazing with contempt. "You're nothing but a weak human slave, barely worth the effort to crush." Her voice dripped with centuries of racial superiority. Tristan had simply shrugged, a slight smirk playing at the corner of his mouth. He'd heard it all before. The bigger they were, the harder they fell. Now, they circled each other in the blood-stained sand, neither willing to make the first move. The crowd's chanting grew louder, demanding action. Nixus struck first, her massive fist whistling through the air where Tristan's head had been a split second before. He ducked and rolled, coming up inside her reach. His counterstrike was lightning fast, catching her in the solar plexus. She staggered back, her eyes widening in shock. No human had ever landed a blow on her before. "Lucky hit, little man," she snarled, but there was a new note of uncertainty in her voice. "Luck's got nothing to do with it, sweetheart," Tristan replied, settling into a fighting stance. "You ready to dance?" What followed was a brutal ballet of combat. Nixus's superior reach and strength were matched against Tristan's speed and tactical precision. Every time she thought she had him cornered, he would slip away like smoke, countering with devastating combinations that slowly wore down her defenses. The crowd's mood shifted from bloodthirsty excitement to stunned silence as they watched their champion being systematically dismantled by the human slave. Nixus's legendary confidence crumbled with each passing minute. "Impossible," she gasped after Tristan landed another punishing series of strikes. "You're just a human." "Yeah," Tristan said, barely winded. "Funny thing about humans, we tend to exceed expectations." The final exchange was brutal and decisive. Nixus, desperate and frustrated, overextended on a powerful right hook. Tristan slipped inside her guard one last time, his strikes precise and devastating. A thunderous uppercut caught her jaw, sending her massive frame crashing to the arena floor. For the first time in her 300-year fighting career, Nixus found herself on her knees, trembling with exhaustion and something else, fear. Part 2, Mercy in the Sands. The arena guards moved swiftly, their energy weapons humming to life as they surrounded Tristan and Nixus. The head arena master's voice boomed through the amplification system, thick with rage and indignation. "The human slave has defied sacred combat law. Both warriors will be executed for this blasphemy." Tristan's muscles tensed as he assessed their situation. 12 guards, standard-issue plasma rifles, and riot shields, bad odds, but he'd faced worse. What he hadn't counted on was Nixus rising to her feet beside him, her massive frame radiating deadly purpose. "I will not die on my knees," she growled, her amber eyes meeting his. "It seems we fight together now, human." "Tristan," he corrected, a hint of a smile playing at his lips despite their dire situation. "If we're going to die together, you might as well use my name." The first guard fired, the plasma bolt sizzling past Tristan's ear. He moved instinctively, rolling forward and sweeping the guard's legs while Nixus launched herself at 2 others, her powerful arms sending them flying into the arena wall. They fought back to back, an unlikely duo finding perfect synchronization in combat. Tristan's swift, precise strikes complemented Nixus's raw power. Each time he created an opening, she capitalized on it with devastating force. When she drew multiple attackers, he slipped through their defenses like water. The maintenance tunnels, Nyxus panted between strikes. Beneath the arena, we can lose them there. Tristan nodded, noticing how her hair tentacles seemed to move in response to her emotions, currently writhing with battle fury. It was strangely captivating. They fought their way to a service entrance, Nyxus ripping the reinforced door from its hinges with a display of strength that made Tristan whistle appreciatively. They descended into darkness, the sounds of pursuit echoing behind them. The tunnels were a maze of pipes and ancient stone, barely lit by emergency strips. Tristan led the way, his combat training kicking in as he navigated them through the labyrinth. Nyxus moved with surprising grace for her size, though the low ceilings forced her to crouch. "You're different from what I expected," she said during a brief pause to catch their breath. Her voice had lost its earlier contempt, replaced by genuine curiosity. "Oh?" Tristan leaned against a wall, studying her in the dim light. Even battle-worn and hunted, she carried herself with a warrior's pride. "And what did you expect? Humans are supposed to be savage, primitive. Yet you showed mercy. You fight with honor." She moved closer, her massive frame towering over him. "And with skill that rivals our greatest warriors." Tristan felt the air change between them, charged with something beyond the adrenaline of combat. "Maybe your people should revise their opinion of humans." "Perhaps," she murmured, her amber eyes intense as she regarded him. "I certainly am." The moment stretched, heavy with unspoken possibilities. Tristan found himself acutely aware of her presence, the heat radiating from her body, the exotic scent that reminded him of spiced honey. A distant explosion shattered the moment. "They're sweeping the tunnels," Tristan said, pushing off the wall. "We need to move." "There's a gladiator safehouse in the lower levels," Nyxus replied, her voice husky. "If we can reach it." They pressed on through the darkness, their path taking them deeper into the ancient complex. The pursuit grew more distant, but neither relaxed their guard. They moved in comfortable silence, communicating through gestures and shared glances that grew increasingly charged with unspoken attraction. Finally, they reached a heavy door marked with symbols Tristan didn't recognize. Nyxus pressed her palm to a scanner, and the door slid open to reveal a sparse but secure chamber. "We'll be safe here for now," she said, securing the door behind them. "The arena masters don't know about this place." The room was small by her species standards, forcing them into close proximity. Tristan could feel the tension building between them like electricity before a storm. "Why did you really spare me?" Nyxus asked suddenly, her voice soft but intense. "The truth?" Tristan met her gaze steadily. "Because killing a defeated opponent proves nothing. Because I saw something in you worth saving." He paused, then added with a slight smile, "And because you're the most impressive warrior I've ever met." Her hair tentacles rippled with emotion as she processed his words. "You are not what I expected at all, Tristan of Earth." She stepped closer until he could feel the heat of her body. "You make me question everything I thought I knew." Part 3, The Rebellion Begins. The distant echo of boots on metal roused Tristan from his light sleep. Beside him, Nyxus was already alert, her amber eyes gleaming in the dim light of their hideout. Her hair tentacles coiled protectively around his shoulders, a gesture that had become familiar and comforting over the past few hours. "Elite hunters," she whispered, her breath warm against his ear. "They're sweeping the maintenance levels systematically." Tristan nodded, his tactical mind already mapping potential escape routes. "How many levels below us are there?" "3, Nyxus replied, her expression shifting to reveal something she'd been holding back. "And they're not empty. The arena masters keep their failed experiments down there, warriors who refuse to kill. Like us." The implications hit Tristan like a physical blow. "How many?" "Dozens." Perhaps hundreds. Many are former champions who chose mercy over murder. Her voice carried both pride and pain. I never understood their choice, until now. The sound of searching grew closer. Tristan pressed a quick kiss to Nyxus's temple, drawing a surprised purr from her. Then let's give them a chance to fight back. They gathered their minimal supplies, moving with a comfortable synchronization of warriors who had become intimate partners. Every shared glance carried the weight of their growing connection, their touches lingered just a moment longer than necessary. The lowest levels of the arena complex were a maze of ancient stone and modern security systems. Nyxus's knowledge of the facility proved invaluable as they evaded the hunting parties, descending deeper into the darkness. The prisoners are kept in stasis cells, she explained as they reached a massive security door. The arena masters claimed they were executed, but really, they're kept as backup entertainment or test subjects. Tristan's jaw tightened. Not anymore. The security system proved no match for their combined skills, Nyxus's strength and Tristan's technical expertise from his marine days. As the door slid open, they were hit by the eerie blue glow of hundreds of stasis pods lining the walls. By the ancient stars, Nyxus breathed, her hair tentacles writhing with emotion. I knew some of these warriors, champions from a dozen worlds. They worked quickly, Tristan hacking the central control while Nyxus stood guard. The first pod hissed open, revealing a massive warrior of a species Tristan didn't recognize. Others followed, each one a former champion who had chosen mercy over murder. The arena masters are deploying their elite hunters, Tristan announced to the gathering crowd of awakened warriors. They're sweeping down level by level. We can either run and hide, or we can fight back and end their corrupt rule once and for all. A ripple of anticipation moved through the assembled fighters. These were the best of their kind, warriors who had maintained their honor despite everything. Nyxus stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. I once mocked this human, believing him weak because he came from a lesser world, she declared, her voice carrying to every corner. I was wrong. His mercy showed more strength than any killing blow. Who among you will stand with us? The response was immediate and unanimous. Warriors of every species stepped forward, their eyes burning with the chance for justice. Tristan felt Nyxus's pride radiating through their growing bond. The hunters will be here soon, one of the freed champions warned. They have superior weapons and armor. Tristan grinned, the expression making Nyxus's heart race. But they don't have our secret weapon. They don't expect us to work together. The next hour was spent organizing their forces, with Tristan and Nyxus naturally falling into leadership roles. Their obvious connection, the way they moved in perfect harmony, inspired the others. Here was proof that different species could not only cooperate but forge deeper bonds. The first wave of hunters arrived exactly as Tristan had predicted. They were met with an organized resistance that used the complex's architecture against them. Warriors who had once fought each other to the death now worked in seamless teams, protecting each other's weaknesses. During a brief respite between skirmishes, Nyxus pulled Tristan into a shadowed alcove. Her kiss was fierce and possessive, making his blood sing with battle fury and desire. You've awakened something in all of us, she murmured against his lips. Something the arena masters tried to crush, hope. Tristan traced the curve of her jaw, marveling at how natural their intimacy felt despite their differences. Hope is humanity's secret weapon. That, and our stubborn refusal to accept impossible odds. An explosion rocked the complex, signaling the arrival of more hunters. Nyxus's hair tentacles curled around Tristan protectively. Speaking of impossible odds. Part 4, The Benefactor's Gambit. The arena's lower levels shook with the impact of another explosion as Tristan and Nyxus led their rebel force upward. Through their growing bond, Tristan could sense his mate's increasing concern, something beyond the immediate battle was troubling her. There's more to this facility than even I knew, Nyxus admitted during a brief lull, her hair tentacles coiling anxiously. The Master's private levels contain technology that shouldn't exist in this sector of space. Tristan pulled her into a shadowed alcove, away from the others. The intimate gesture had become natural between them, a reminder of their deepening connection. What kind of technology? Mind control devices. Genetic manipulation chambers. Her amber eyes met his, filled with worry and something deeper, trust. They've been creating enhanced warriors, perfect gladiators who can't disobey. And the crowds, they're being influenced too. Tristan cursed under his breath, his tactical mind racing. That explains the unnaturally synchronized bloodlust in the arena. The whole system is rigged. A massive figure emerged from the shadows, Krath, a four-armed warrior they'd freed earlier. The Masters are deploying their elite guard, but these aren't normal fighters. They move wrong. The enhanced gladiators, Nyxus growled, her protective instincts flaring as she moved closer to Tristan. They'll be nearly impossible to defeat in combat. Tristan smiled, that dangerous grin that made Nyxus's heart race. Then we don't fight them. We free them. The plan came together quickly. While the main rebel force engaged the regular hunters, Tristan would lead a small team to infiltrate the Master's control center. Nyxus, despite her fierce objections, would command the defensive line. I should be at your side, she insisted, her hair tentacles wrapping possessively around his arms. The gesture drew knowing looks from their fellow warriors, who had come to respect and admire their unique bond. You're our strongest fighter, Tristan replied, pulling her close, and the only one they all trust completely. His fingers traced the curve of her jaw, making her purr softly. Besides, you've already proven you can kick my ass if needed. Their kiss was brief but intense, carrying all the words they couldn't say. Around them, the rebel warriors prepared for battle, inspired by the obvious devotion between the human who had shown them mercy and the mighty gladiatrix who had learned to love. The assault began with precision timing. As Nyxus led the main force in a frontal attack, Tristan and his infiltration team used the maintenance tunnels to bypass the heavy defenses. The enhanced gladiators proved devastating, their movements unnaturally fast, their strength beyond even Nyxus's capabilities. But something unexpected happened when they faced the rebels. The sight of former champions fighting alongside each other, protecting rather than killing, seemed to create confusion in their programmed minds. The control isn't perfect, Tristan realized, watching through a security feed. They can't fully suppress their warrior spirit. The Master's control center was a testament to forbidden technology. Banks of neural interfaces lined the walls, broadcasting signals that influenced both crowds and fighters. But the true horror lay in the genetic manipulation chambers, where unconscious warriors floated in glowing fluid. By all the ancient stars, Krath breathed, his forearms clenching in rage. They're not just controlling minds, they're rewriting genetic code. Tristan worked quickly, his marine training including enough tech knowledge to understand the basic systems. The controls are linked. If we can overload the main broadcast, it should free both the enhanced warriors and break the crowd control. A sudden explosion rocked the chamber. Through their bond, Tristan felt Nyxus's fierce determination as she led the defense against overwhelming odds. Her unwavering faith in him, in them, fueled his resolve. The Masters had anticipated rebellion but not the unique combination of human ingenuity and alien strength. While Tristan reprogrammed the control systems, his team held off security forces with savage efficiency. Broadcasting in 30 seconds, Tristan announced, his fingers flying over the alien controls. Let's show everyone what's really been happening in this arena. The effect was immediate and devastating. Throughout the complex, enhanced gladiators stumbled as their neural conditioning shattered. In the arena above, thousands of spectators shook off the artificial bloodlust that had controlled them for so long. But the Masters had one final weapon. As alarms blared throughout the facility, massive doors opened to release their ultimate creations, gladiators so heavily modified they barely resembled their original species. Through security feeds, Tristan watched Nixis face these monstrosities. She moved with deadly grace, her fighting style now incorporating elements of his own techniques. Their bond hummed with shared strength and determination.